Good afternoon. It's Valerie here. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you all to this page that you're going to get on the top of your new TM6 when it comes to you and you unbox it for the first time. Please take a read at number 1. Sign up for a Cookidoo account at Cookidoo.thermomix.com. Skip this step if you already have a Cookidoo account. Aha! Let's look at cookidoo.thermomix.com. If you could write that down, let me sign out so you know what it looks like. When you go to cookidoo.thermomix.com, this is what it will look like, and it will say try for free. Please do that. You can select try for free, or you can select sign up. Either way, it's the same. You get 1 month of free Cookidoo anytime, anywhere. Then you get 6 more months of free Cookidoo at the same email address when you buy a TM6 or a TM5 with a cook key that is brand new. Let's go to sign up. So you fill in your email, you fill in your password, you fill in the country as Canada, and then you select sign up. I'm not going to do that because I already have my account. I'm going to go back and log in. But I will tell you that once you select sign up, you will get an email immediately asking you to activate your Cookidoo account in your email. Follow the instructions there, please. Then come back to Cookidoo, sign in using that email and password, and you will see this. Chances are it will have your email up here and not your name. Let's find out why. Let's go to account, scroll down to change profile, go into profile, and let's put your first name and last name there. I have a little thing, and I just like my Cookidoo to say, hey, Valerie, how are you? What would you like to cook today? It's way better than seeing my email there. Then let's look at my devices. Because your account is new, it won't look like mine. All it will have is add device. I have devices added to my account already. That's why I have this. But yours is new. It will just have add device. So it's important that you know what is back here. Take a snoop through this. And I'm going to go back to the Thermomix logo to take me to the main page. Now, once you set up your Thermomix, your TM6, and you log into your TM6, and you put in your Cookidoo password and your Cookidoo account in your TM6, it is so smart, it actually registers itself. After you do that, you can go to your computer, back to your Cookidoo, check your devices, and you'll see it's actually registered itself on your Cookidoo account. That's kind of a fun little thing to discover. Let me take you through the home page of our Cookidoo really dynamic interactive recipe platform, because it's more than just a recipe database by far. Here's our home page, remember, at cookidoothermomix.com. Now, this is the North American company from Mexico to Canada, and our recipe development team is in the United States. So our default country currently is in the United States. So our United States default country creates recipes every week, usually 3 to 5 recipes every week. And these are the latest recipes that they just created this week and uploaded to Cookidoo. So if you want to see the latest recipes that you haven't seen, you can check this out right here. And there's the one from last week under See More. Scroll down, we have some videos here. We always highlight things. And then these recipes are the ones that are mostly downloaded and mostly cooked from the people at this recipe platform. Now, Thermomix Cookidoo.com has 16 recipe platforms, and the United States is one of the 16. So these are the ones that are mostly cooked in North America. Now here we have some articles. At this time in January of 2020, when I'm recording this video, Cooking with Chicken is up. We just have, oh my, Valentine has just come up too. And for Valentine's Day, we just had citrus and Chinese New Year's. They're all really dynamic, highly interactive articles. Let's take a look at what actually they contain. If we look at the Chinese New Year's, there's all sorts of good luck recipes that you could make to celebrate Chinese New Year's. A history of Chinese New Year's. Chinese New Year dishes. New Year culinary traditions. cooking New Year meals with Thermomix, and celebrate with a taste of tradition and even view more recipes in here. So look at that. There's a collection, more recipes. It just goes on and on and on. What's available inside of our articles. They're really, really worth it. Now remember, right under our Explore page were our latest recipes that were just uploaded. And right under our articles are our latest collections that were just uploaded. Of course, you can see more if you'd like to see those too. Our editors have picks of the week. Now, these are recipes that usually are selected by our development kitchen people. Maybe they're not the ones that are downloaded by most people, but they believe maybe we should try them. So they're really good suggestions. They think they're really delicious, so give them a try. Again, another spotlight recipe. Keep scrolling down and look what we have. An article of interest, another one. We're featuring eggs, caramel because it's a fun thing to do with your family for Valentine's Day. Go keto to meet your New Year goals on diet and taking care of your body. Tips for winter detoxing and the best of the new year, getting fit with Thermomix. My goodness, all of that just on the home page. I find it absolutely incredible. So what else and what is next? I use Cookidoo on Google Chrome with the Translate plugin added in. And when you do that, whatever language you speak to your Thermomix in, it will answer you back in. So I'm going to speak English. Well, it answers me back in English. And here's one thing I want to point out. It defaults to the United States, whatever recipe platform you have selected for your recipe platform. And ours is Canada. That's the country we chose, but our platform is the United States. So this is a 196 recipes on the United States platform. They're all in imperial measurements, which I really don't want to cook in imperial measurements. So I'm going to take off the United States. There are two other English-speaking platforms, one in the United Kingdom and one in Australia. So now there's suddenly 1,069 recipes for chicken. They do include those ones from the United States as well, which I will talk to you about later. But so much more when you take off the United States, recipes we can find in English. We can go into filters now right here, and we can scroll down, and you can see that there are no countries selected. So we can select Australia, we can select Canada, and we can leave out the United States, and we only have 410 recipes found in English. Well, that's odd, because there were about 1,000, only 200 in English in the United States. But the reason for that is many international recipes that have different languages also use the word chicken in English in their recipes. So it's very interesting how this works. But the filters are really, really powerful. You can choose an appetizer if you want to find chicken appetizers. So make sure that you are aware of the filters, understand how they work. If you want to choose an easy recipe, if you only have total time of 30 minutes to make something, if you've just got a few ingredients on hand and you want to use them up, put them here. And then you can decide what you can do with them in 30 minutes, what language you want to speak in, and you can show the results. I'm not doing that now, but it's a really cool way to be able to use the ingredients in your fridge and find out what you can make. Filters are very powerful. Also, we've been looking up recipes, but let's say Valentine's Day is around the corner. So let's plug that in. Look at all the Valentine's recipes that are suggested. I wonder why they don't say Valentine's in them. They must be tagged for Valentine's. Let's see if there's a Valentine's Day collection. There is. Now let's find if there's any articles on Valentine's Day. Well, there is. And a few articles. They must have them on different recipe platforms. So that's interesting. You can do the same thing for Christmas or chocolate or birthday and write them in, and you can find articles, recipes, or collections right here this way. We've all been focusing right here on Explore. Do you remember when I said to you, if you speak to Thermomix in your language, it will answer you in your language? So there's the word chicken in Spanish. Now, interestingly, because the United States is my default country, and the United States default country is using a Spanish word for some of its recipes. But if I take off the United States, do you remember there was 100 and some recipes in the United States recipe platform in English? And then there was about 1,700 or something in English. But look, in Spanish, there's 2,800 recipes in Spanish. Now, do you see here that they are all in Spanish? Let me select one. If you speak to it in Spanish, it will respond to you in Spanish. Remember, you have to deselect the country. Remember I said I had that Google Translate plugin? Up here, this pop, translate this page. I can translate it, and there it comes to me in English. Don't ever limit just using English recipes when there are such beautiful recipes from all around the world on the Cookidoo recipe platform. If I add this to my recipes, though, which I will talk to you about in a minute, to be added to my Thermomix TM6, it will read in the original language in my Thermomix TM6. So then I have to make a decision. Do I take a screenshot of this so I have the English ingredients? Or do I do Google Translate on my phone so that I can read the instructions on my phone and do it from my Thermomix? I mean, it's very straightforward. There's just nouns and verbs, but you'll figure it out. There's many different ways to make it work. I strongly suggest, though, that you definitely use many of these recipes in different languages because they're absolutely delicious, and I do it all of the time. So let's talk about chicken cacciatore. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I'm going to take off the United States. First of all, I'm just going to talk about chicken cacciatore. Take off the United States, and we'll see that there's 3 recipes in English. Now, I like chicken cacciatore, so I tried all 3. This one was the favorite of my husband. So what do we do with this? Let's add it. We're going to add it to a collection. Now, because you have no Cookidoo account, and this is a brand new account for you, let's pretend that you will have nothing here. I have these collections because I have an account. So you will not have an account. There will be nothing there. This is a new account. So let's create, one thing I want my new customers to do is I want you to create recipes to cook for the first time. And then you'll save that to recipes to cook for the first time. Let's take a look here and see if it's there. First recipes to cook. There it is. We've saved it under first recipes to cook. I'd actually done it before. That's why I didn't type it in. I put the zeros there just simply so it would appear at the top for the purpose of this video. And so I suggest to you to snoop around and select 2 to 5 recipes to cook the day that you get your Thermomix, because you want to be able to cook in it. And I suggest you use guided recipes. So once you get all of the recipes in this collection of the first recipes that you want to cook, I'll tell you how to get the groceries for those. The other thing that I also suggest that you do, though, is create another collection with the help of your Thermomix consultant of the recipes that you cooked during your cooking experience with your Thermomix consultant, using the cooking experience recipes that your consultant did for you, and save those 5 recipes here. So you could say my cooking experience with my consultant and have those 5 recipes saved there. So when you get your new Thermomix with your Cookidoo account, you have the recipes that your consultant cooked with you, and you have these recipes that you want to cook, your first 2 collections. And then of course you can save them however you want. Once you get them all saved, see these little ellipses here, just select them and add to your shopping list. Added to shopping list. So let's go take a look at our shopping list. Now, you're doing this because you don't know what day your Thermomix is arriving. So you're just getting your groceries ready. But if you know what day your Thermomix is arriving, you can also add the recipes to that week. Let's say my Thermomix is arriving on Saturday. I can drag my recipes over to Saturday, or I can say, move to another day. I'll move them to Saturday. And there's my recipes that I'm going to be able to cook on the day I get my Thermomix, which is Saturday. Now I'm going to just clear this cart because I see it had 2 recipes. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to add this recipe to my shopping cart, and there will be 3 or 4 other recipes added if I want to cook 3 or 4 other recipes that same day on my shopping cart. Let's open the shopping cart. You can add recipes by category, or pardon me, you can look at the shopping list by category, or you can look at the shopping list by recipes. And then, do you see these very, very light check marks here? Let's go through it by category though, because that's how I shop. Now I'm looking here. I have brown sugar, so I'm going to check it because that means I'm taking it off. Items added to items I already have. Dry white wine, please don't laugh, but I actually do have 100-gram Ziploc packages of white wine in my freezer because whenever the bottle's half full and people leave, I weigh it, measure it, Ziploc it for recipes just like this. So I have it. I need to buy the chicken thighs. I do have olive oil. I do have crushed tomatoes. I'm not buying the black olives, though I love them. My husband doesn't. Of course, I have pepper and salt. Now, veggie stock paste you probably don't have and you haven't made. That might be one of the recipes that you add to your collection. You can decide. I have it made. I have an onion. I don't have fresh basil or fresh parsley or the mushrooms. I do have garlic and I don't have the red pepper. So let's take a look. Oh, this is a very small shopping list of things I need to buy to make this delicious recipe. Just chicken, some fresh herbs, some mushrooms, and a red pepper. Everything else are just ingredients I'd always have at home anyway. And that's almost the way it is with many of these recipes. So let's take a look at the items I crossed out, because if I made a mistake and I have to add them back, I just say, oh, I thought I had an onion and I don't. So I'm going to click that off. And look, it comes right back onto my grocery list. But that isn't all. So before I save my grocery list and send it to myself, or better yet, my husband to purchase for me on his way home from work, I also think that I'm going to need some yogurt. I love yogurt with this recipe. My husband, he loves sour cream. So I'll add those 2 things to the recipe too. And then what do? I go up to options, select options, select share. I can print it if I want to, but I like soft copies. I'm just going to copy this. Now I can go to my iMessage, I can go to my text message, I can go to my email, and I will go to my email right now. I will send this to myself for the purpose of showing you what it looks like. And I'm just going to cut and paste. Well, I've already pasted. Here's my grocery list. So I'm sending it to myself. Usually I do it via text. See, there it is, for my husband. And I look, there's my grocery list. Isn't that cool? For me, when I go shopping, I download the app, the Cookidoo app, and I can read my grocery list right from there on my phone. And if I want to delete things I've already purchased, I can download it to my notes. There's so many ways that you can do this. But I hope that that's motivated you, that you know what's expected before you receive your Thermomix. You need to sign up for Cookidoo, have a lot of fun exploring and getting to know the application, save the collection that your consultant cooked for you so you have those 5 recipes because I'm sure you found them very delicious. Save recipes you'd like to cook for when you get your Thermomix unpacked, you're ready, you have the groceries in your fridge because you'll get a tracking number and you'll know when to buy the groceries and when to have them ready. And then get cooking. And don't forget to send your consultant a picture of what you've been cooking and ask questions if you need help at any time. Happy Thermomixing.